Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the show on Shaw, right here in the Nanaimo studios. Episode number 160, also known as Season 8, Episode 7, but also more importantly, it's now our 8th anniversary. The show was started back in 2011 by our big heroes, Kate Bergen and Todd Jones. So really wonderful to be here, one of the longest running shows here on Shaw in Nanaimo. Thank you for coming along on the 8-year ride with us. We'll do some more celebrating in our next episode. All right, our musical guests in behind me right now, DonTan and Jen Carnahan. Don making a return visit to the Shaw TV studios. We're going to talk to Don about his new album and hear some songs throughout the hour. Also on today's show, Quilting in the Name of. We're going to meet a group that knows not to cry over spilt quilt. It's the Nanaimo Quilters Guild. They've got an upcoming quilt show and sale. Stay tuned and we'll blanket the airwaves with the when and where. Now, Nanaimo's Old City Quarter is going to be a hot spot for a hot music series coming up this summer. We'll have no trouble scaling the walls to touch base with the event coordinator on the show. Also time to ride with Pride. We'll check in with the Nanaimo Pride Society to see what's happening with the Nanaimo Pride Week 2019 and beyond. And we've also got some home maintenance tips for the spring season as we're all finally venturing back outside to see how our homes are doing. And after we learn a bit about how to keep bugs out of our homes, we got a doctor on the set to tell us how to keep superbugs out of our bodies. Also, as part of a recurring Seniors Connect series, we're going to talk to a couple of volunteers about their Seniors Connectors program. But first, our good friend and legendary children's entertainer, Brent Boehler, is in the house, aka Brent of Brent and Woofy. They're going to talk about a big party and a book launch. Why Woofy's launching books out of a catapult into the ocean, I have no idea, but we're going to find out here pretty shortly. So turn up your speakers. We're sounding good through your Woofys and your tweeters. It's the show on Shaw.
Said it better than I could. I'm here to interview someone whose last name I did not know until a few minutes ago because I've always thought of him as Brent and Woofy. So Brent is kind of like all on his own tonight, and he's going to talk to us about what is happening with his wonderful new book launch.
It's 25 years since Woofy and I started, and this year it's going to be 26 years. But I thought for the 25th anniversary, I should write the story of where I come from, how I got there, where it's going. Ta-da!
There it is.
My autobiography.
The first 25 years, so there'll be another 25 years to follow.
You have to read the book to find out.
Oh, I see. So Brent Lindsay Boehler,
Yes.
Tell us a bit about some of the adventures you cover in this book, please.
Well, it starts off in the beginning, how I got started, and basically I played in bars for years and years and years, and then got married and had little kids and cousins, and they'd come over and I'd start playing, and they would just have a great time. I thought this would be a lot more fun for me to do. So that's how I got started. Skip ahead, 25 years later, we got lots of stuff coming up. Well, but this is my 4th book that I've written.
Okay, and I guess that's a lead into let's discuss some of your other tomes.
Let's do that.
Okay, so I'm interested in finding out about that one because that's the thickest one you've got here too. We'll start with that one.
Sorry, this is the first one that I did. It's just a whole list of all of, well, not all of, about a quarter of the songs I've written in my life. And they're all up on YouTube, so if you want to go listen to them, they're there. And I'm currently recording CDs with all these songs. But what I'm doing right now is this one. It's called Love Songs for an Angel. Okay. This is a story of a love. It's a love story about love and how it starts and how it ends. And I am recording the songs for it now. There's about 14 of the best.
Okay.
So what I thought.
So the book is available now, and the CDs will be later?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometime this fall. See, the beauty is there's no deadline on this particular one, so I can just play with it. Now for future.
Oh, well, Canadians certainly have a lot to say, so I'm really curious to find out about what anecdotes you have to share from that book.
Well, my first question is, what do people like to talk about themselves, or what do people like to talk about the most? Themselves. Or the weather.
Yeah, for me, Canadians like to talk about the weather. That's my experience.
Can I read this book to you?
Absolutely.
Ready?
At least an excerpt or two.
Yeah, here we go. Beep. It's blank. This is Antibotics from Canucks, Nanaimo to Newfoundland. I plan on getting in the van, driving across the country and talking to people, go to the Maritimes and talk to some fishermen out there, and just fill the book with stories and things that people would never think of. So that's the future.
That sounds very joyful. Like your whole career has been too, and your dedication to community, and you were performing for Food Bank. Was it performing? You and Woofy were out there for Food Bank at Christmas time for a number of years, and that.
We did a lot of concerts and brought in a lot of food for the food bank. Yeah.
So my question is to you: is Woofy going with you on the road?
I'll have to ask him.
Okay, well, let's hope.
Of course.
Of course, okay.
We're going to do shows across the country.
Oh, that's terrific. That's terrific.
Of course. And do this book at the same time. So.
And so you'll be promoting this book, the one that you're holding up right now, the first 25 years, at the Harbourfront branch of the Vancouver Island Library on June 8th.
This was supposed to be launched last year at the 25th anniversary, but got pushed back. We got to June. Woofy's birthday's on June the 4th.
Okay.
Why not do them both at the same time?
And how old is Woofy then?
26.
26. Oh, so your career began with Woofy's childbirth. Okay.
1993, that's me.
Oh, so that's you as a younger, you and Woofy as younger people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this event is not just for kids, it's for everybody from age 1 to 101. Come on down, and free event. Have some birthday cake.
So there'll be some performing on guitar and all of that. That's wonderful.
I'll do some of the stuff that I've done years and years ago. The kids love it.
Okay.
And I get to keep doing the same material because I get new kids.
Some of the kids are now adults, yes.
They have kids of their own,
yes,
so it's always great to see that.
Yeah. So anyways, once again, June 8th at the Harbourfront Branch Library of the Vancouver Island Library.
Upstairs.
It will be I Am Brent and Woofy with Brent Boehler, and Woofy, is Woofy's last name also Boehler?
His name's the dog.
Oh, Woofy the dog. So thank you so much for coming and talking to us about all your wonderful writing adventures. And now I'm delighted to throw to Jane, who is going to be showing off some amazing quilting with some folks from the Nanaimo Quilters Guild.
Thank you so much for that, Joanne. Books tell amazing stories, but there's lots of different ways for us to tell a story. And nothing can tell a story quite like a quilt. Today, my guests are Vicki Zolte, the past president of the Nanaimo Quilters Guild and secretary of this year's Nanaimo Quilt Show, and also the convener of this year's Nanaimo Quilt Show, Kerilie McDowall. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
So we have so many beautiful things to choose from here today to talk about, because who knew that quilting was such a diverse art form? This one here, I am just fascinated by this. I would not have even thought this was a quilt. I'd love to know more about it.
Well, Philippa Zaff, who made it, she took a picture of the buffalo in Yellowstone Park, and she's very, very talented. She used thread painting and tufting with felt and free motion quilting, and voila, there's that beautiful buffalo. And she also used trapunto, which gives it the lift, so it's three-dimensional.
Right. Now, obviously, this is like a wall hanging. This is something you would put on your wall, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what you said free motion. What do you mean by free motion?
Oh, basically, you just let her go and just wander around and do what you feel is cool to make some decoration on your quilt.
Okay. Now, would this be quilted by hand, or is this quilted on the machine?
This is basically on the machine.
Okay. All right. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous piece of art. Then we get to something that's a little more abstract. So, Vicki, tell me a little bit about the kind of quilt that I'm looking at here.
This is a small piece we refer to as modern quilting. This, again, is free motion quilting, where you drop the feed dogs, you let your hands guide the quilt. So these are free motion quilting here. Little bit of up here, bunch of circles, a bunch of swirls, a bunch of flowers.
So very abstract.
Very abstract,
okay.
Yes.
And now, I know back in my grandmother's day when she made quilts, people would get together and they would hand sew quilts. Does that still happen today, or?
Hand quilting still happens. Okay. I just finished a queen size hand quilted.
Okay.
getting together and quilt. We don't, to quilt a quilt, we don't do that with the Nanaimo Quilters Guild, but we do get together as a group once a year and have a quilt bee to make quilts for the Haven Society.
That's absolutely true. I know you do a lot of amazing quilting work here in the community. Everyone from the Aboriginal Infant Development Program, lots of Building Better Babies. Nanaimo Family Life Association is the recipient of many of your quilts each year. You've given away hundreds and hundreds of quilts over the last, since what, 1984, right, when you first started?
Yes.
Now, if people wanted to buy a beautiful quilt, can you tell me a little bit about your upcoming show?
Well, our show is Friday and Saturday, June the 7th and 8th at the Nanaimo Curling Club at 106 Wall Street. Okay. And it's open from 10 until 5. Admission's $8, children $2. We have all kinds of partitions in the building. So we have the Merchant Mall. So if you want to come and buy things for the Merchant Mall, you can do that. We have a demo area for people who want to learn some new techniques. Okay. We have a tea room, so there's all kinds of sandwiches and liquids. And we have a boutique. So if you like to buy something that's quilt related, you can purchase something there.
Could I win one of these beautiful quilts?
Oh, definitely.
We have 4 masterpiece raffle quilts. They're absolutely gorgeous.
Now, will they be small quilts like this, or is that a full-size quilt?
Full-size quilt.
Oh,
and you can purchase tickets for those raffle quilts at the show.
Oh, that sounds phenomenal. You know, we have time for just one quick other explanation. I loved this one. Again, somewhat three-dimensional. Tell me a little bit about this one before we wrap up.
This is applique. The little birds are sewn onto the background fabric. The clouds and the birds, I think they're chickadees, but I'm not sure, they've been stuffed, which is trapuntoed. And then the flowers are individual French daisies sewn on, and all of this is free motion quilting.
Absolutely spectacular, spectacular works of art. So if I go down to the quilt show, I'm going to have an opportunity to see all these wonderful types of quilts. Old-fashioned log cabin quilts still exist?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
I can't wait to see you all there, and I know everyone else is really going to enjoy being there. And now I'm going to throw things over to Vanessa Purdy, who's going to tell us about more upcoming art in Nanaimo.
Thanks so much for that, Jane. I have with me today in the studio James McRae, who is the event coordinator for the Friday Lunchtime Music Series. And this is a free event that happens every Friday from 12 to 1 in the Old City Quarter. So James has all the knowledge about this fun event, and I'm going to hand it over to him and let him get started telling you about Sounds of Summer in the OCQ.
Thanks, Vanessa. Basically, it's a whole bunch of free music for people to partake of. It's happening every Friday for 3 months, June, July, and August. And it is a 1-hour concert. And the last show, at the very end of the series, is a 2-hour concert. The music is really family. It's for anyone of all ages. There's a great variety of music in the whole series. And I think a lot of people will really enjoy it. So the question is how do you find out about this? So you can go to the website, which is oldcityquarter.com. Or you can go to NanaimoJazzFest.ca, which is co-sponsoring this whole event, and I'm kind of a liaison that has helped make it happen with those two organizations. And it's also supported by the city of Nanaimo and also Cultural Heritage Nanaimo. This is what the poster looks like, and it lists all of the artists that are performing at the series. I'll be handing these posters, small-size posters, out on the dates that the shows happen. So for anyone who doesn't know where the Old City Quarter is, who's new to Nanaimo, it's just a couple of blocks up from the downtown core, Fitzwilliam and Wesley Street. I don't know if y'all know where that is. So it's free music and it moves around each month. First month is near Boca, Occidental Hotel. Second month it's across from Delicados. And the third month, it's just very close to St. Andrew's Church on Wesley. So that's a quick overview without mentioning anything about the artist. Coincidentally, one of the folks here at Shaw, Matt Carter, he's performing in this series as a part of a band called Decadence. Decadence is a band that has a long history in Nanaimo. It's a group of fun people that play a New Orleans party type music. And so it's not, it's a mixed bag. This whole thing is very diverse. Like Matt's band, or the band that Matt's in, is about 10 people in that band. There's quartets, there's duos, there's trios. We got some folks from Gabriola Island that are coming called Trio Seso. That's Leah Hokumum, Alana Gao, and Tina Jones, who some of the people here know those folks. They're on Gabriola. They do a really interesting mixture of music. We have Rick Scott, who's actually from Protection Island. He's a children's performer, but he's more than that. He's just a real exciting entertainer, and he's playing with Nico Rhodes. We also have Joelle Rabu, who is performing as a part of the series. For anyone who's ever heard of, Joelle, or hasn't heard of Joelle Rabu, she's well known for doing an Edith Piaf tribute. So there's a real diversity of performers that are happening. And this is all really thanks to the Old City Quarter, who has funded this project. All the musicians are getting paid well. The volume is going to be really enjoyable. It's not going to be loud music. You can bring your lunch and you can come to the show for 1 hour and enjoy yourself. You can bring your kids. You can bring your dog. You can all of that stuff. So and so another feature of this whole thing is, aside from the shows that are happening in the day, there may be some shows that happen in the evening that are connected to this as well. So it's just kind of a fairly rough overview. I got more to say. I don't know if I've talked too much. You got any questions you want to ask me?
I think we're nearly wrapped up our segment here.
Okay. This just really quickly, Nanaimo Jazz Fest, which is involved in this, they've also got a bunch of shows that are happening in the next month. So again, just check out the website, oldcityquarter.com and Nanaimo jazzfest.ca, which will have all the info about this, the artists. And again, it is free. It's lunchtime, 12 till 1, every Friday, June, July, and August. Downtown, Old City Quarter, Fitzwilliam, Wesley area. So just wander around there and you'll find it.
That sounds great, James. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
What more can you ask for? Some fun, free, family, diverse music happening down in one of my favorite parts of town. And I'm seeing a little hashtag here that says #Life in the OCQ. So maybe tag some friends and say that you're going to go to that event and check it out and say hello to James.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Vanessa.
We are now going to throw it back on over to DonTan, and we are going to hear Tread on Light. That was awesome. No worries. Oh.
In the hole of my soul, the bottom of my shoe, hold my soul, yeah, I got you. Hold my soul, the bottom of my shoe, hold my soul, yeah, the I got you. Yeah. Tread on line. Papa gonna put up a fight. Yeah. Tread on line. Papa gonna put up a fight. Those old jeans and the pain on my face, the hold my soul where I lost my faith. In a beat up truck, some Irish luck, the hold my soul, baby, pop that clutch. Yeah. Left it all on that porch, picked up the piece and sold in the hole. Yeah. Left it all on that porch, picked up the piece and sold in the hole. Yeah. Tread on line. Papa gonna put up a fight. Yeah. Tread on line. Papa gonna put up a fight. Those old jeans and the pain in my face, hold my soul where I lost my faith. In a beat up truck, tread on light. Papa gonna put up a fire.
We now have with us a couple of folks from the Nanaimo Pride Society. We've got Corinne, who's a director on the society board, and we've got the president, Alessandro. So I'm really excited to have you both in the studio with us tonight, so thank you for coming. We're gonna jump right into it because we only have 5 minutes, I'm told, to talk about all of the cool and exciting things that have happened and are going to happen on the society. So why don't we start with Pride Week?
Okay, so Pride Week's happening in June, June 4th to 9th. It's the first time we actually have an almost full week of events, so it's exciting. We've added a couple of events, and we also have some old events coming back, and we're expecting a really huge turnout, and it's really exciting.
Yes, it sounds exciting. What are the new events that you guys have added, Corinne?
Well, we've added, we've changed the flag raising, some of the dates and times. So we've added the flag raising, but we're also incorporating different music within it, different times for the drag bingo. Became very popular last year, and I think we're also going to be returning to the history exhibit. Not a lot of people know that it was actually all month long, and it's going to be again this year, June, at the library, and it's going to be an amazing exhibit for during Pride Week as well as the rest of the month of June.
Right, and that'll be at the downtown Nanaimo
That's
library
correct.
location,
That's right.
It's a great exhibit. I encourage everybody to have a look and check it out. I know there's some new stuff happening with social media and the society. What are you guys doing different this year?
Well, we've expanded our communications, so we've added Instagram and Twitter, a YouTube channel. We've got various partners that are helping us with social media as well. So, you know, reaching out to a broader community and you know, hitting on those demographics, and it's, yeah.
Are you finding quite a bit of success with that already?
Well, it's pretty overwhelming what I've seen. Like, we have, you know, a lot of support, a groundswell of support from within our own community, but also like from the broader community. You know, we have actually businesses, organizations, groups, all these people that are coming to us without us even like having had to reach out. So I think it's a reflection of, you know, how Nanaimo is evolving.
Right.
And we have a lot of people wanting to be involved, and it's great to see all these families, and I get numerous letters from parents who, you know, are bringing their kids to Pride this year, and
I think that's what the big change is. People are starting to realize that the Pride Society is an inclusive organization that is out there, and we're looking for support from everyone, no matter of their, you know, their gender orientation, expression, or age. We're looking at all different capacities, and now we're getting the positive response from it. Everybody feels inclusive and they want to be part of our organization, or they want to be part of the fun things that we get to do.
Excellent. That being said, you can find out lots of information about what the Pride Society is up to. You can actually find out information on how to volunteer, information on sponsors at www.nanaimopride.ca. And just quickly before we wrap up, what can we expect moving forward from the society? Is there anything?
I think what we're doing is we're building on what we've achieved, and with every year we're building even more. And you know, whereas before we were looking on a yearly basis, this time we're looking years ahead.
Excellent.
So that at some point we leave the society in the hands of future generations. So it's exciting.
That's really great. And that really is the key, is the fact that we have future generations that we're kind of stimulating this interest in growth in. So check out the website, check out Pride Week. I do hope to have you guys back in studio again, because 5 minutes is not enough time to talk about all of the great things that you guys are up to.
Thank you.
And thanks so much for that, Vanessa. You know, spring is a time when we're thinking of our homes. We have a to-do list. It's usually pretty big. I've recently become a homeowner, so I need to know all those answers, new homeowners and people that just want to know what are the top 5 to-do lists, top 5 to-do items for spring for your home. And joining me today from ShackMaster Homes is Chris Boyd and Kane McIntyre. And they're going to tell us what the top 5 items are. But first we're going to ask Kane. Kane, tell me about the business and how it first started.
Well, actually we owe a lot to Chris. He actually initially moved to Nanaimo to be a bit closer to his family. And when he moved here, he needed someone to do his lawns. He reached out to some companies and they wouldn't show up. They weren't doing the service they wanted. So he saw the gap in the market. He talked to me. I was interested. So I moved over. We looked at the market and we saw the gap in there. So a month later, I was in Nanaimo and ShackMaster was born.
That's awesome, you know. Well, why don't we start showing the top 5 to-do list items. So number 1 is, what's number 1 on our list for spring maintenance?
So the first thing we want to do is just look at gutter cleaning. It's one of the easiest things we can do, and it prevents any water from backing up into your home, sitting and getting into your shingles and overflowing. So that's going to be the easiest thing you can do for your home just to keep it running smooth.
Really important. So what would item number 2 be for home maintenance?
Number 2 would be lawn dethatching.
Okay, what
or is that? So it's often referred to as power raking or dethatching.
Okay.
And so that's just taking a small layer of all the dead grass and weeds off of your lawn. So then your lawn can breathe again and it can get full and it can retain the water and the water can soak in so that the grass can live.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So item number 3, Kane, what are your thoughts? What would that be, item number 3?
So it's aerating, so it kind of works well with dethatching. So with regular foot traffic and mowing your lawns all the time, it really compacts the soil and water can't get into it. So when it rains, when you're watering your garden, the water's not actually soaking in, it's running off or it's getting evaporated before it has time to do it. So by running a coring machine over it, it's plugging holes into the ground, it's letting that water in, it's letting those nasty gases out of the soil, and just the roots of your grasses are going to grow deeper, they're going to hold better. It's just the way to go. Is the coring.
Sounds like the way to go for sure.
Yeah.
So, and number 4, roof demossing. You guys came over and did my roof. I couldn't believe the work that was involved. I felt so sorry for the poor guy that was doing it. But tell me, why do we have to demoss our roofs? Why do we have to do that? And how often should we do it?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's hideous on the roof. It's not a good look at all. So that's number 1 why people really want to get rid of it. But it actually has a lot of cons to it. So it holds a lot of water in that moss, and the moss actually seeps into those shingles.
Right.
So over time, when that moss starts growing, you're leaving it, it's going to some water's going to leak into your roof.
Into your home.
And it starts deteriorating your shingles on the roof, so it takes off the life of your roof. It's
really
important. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad I had it done. So Chris, getting back to the last 5th item, what would that be?
Yeah, so it's another easy one, similar to gutter cleaning. It's just pressure washing. Pressure wash before it becomes a problem, before things are stained permanently. So decks, siding, if you leave it, it's going to be stained and then you're going to have to either redo it or replace it or paint.
So how often should you do it?
Every other year, depending on where you are though. If you're under a lot of trees, I would say do it every year.
Okay.
And then that way it's just going to keep on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got to start wrapping up, but I just wanted to ask you if you have any last thoughts to add, either of you, today before we close and wrap up.
Yeah, so another, an easy sort of money-saving tip would be, for your gutters, would be to just get gutter guards put on, right? So everything's just going to sit on top, but the water's still going to drain through. Another thing is, another easy tip is lawn dethatching should be done once a year, as well as the gutters should be done spring and fall. But for any other tips, you can always visit us online and shackmaster.ca and give us a call and we'll talk you through it.
And you've been so helpful at my home, putting in all those LEDs in, which are saving me so much money. but also saving me from having to change the light bulbs so frequently. So many good money-saving ideas, time-saving ideas. So I guess we have to wrap up, but it's been wonderful chatting with you both today, and thanks for joining us, Kane and Chris, and we'll hope that everyone will get out there and get that home maintenance done for spring.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us.
All right, thank you very, very much, Kerilie, Chris, and Kane. Again, obviously your home, biggest investment you can make in your life. So yeah, take those tips to heart and keep your property looking spick and span. All right, about halfway through the program here, the show on Shaw. Very happy now to talk to our musical guest. First back on the show in April of 2017. I'm very happy to have him back. Welcome back to the program, DonTan.
Thank you. Awesome.
I think you were wearing tie-dye last time, too.
I was wearing tie-dye. I think I wear tie-dye almost every single day for the last 4 years or so, yeah.
All right, so we're not going to go 4 years. 2 years back when we had you on the show, you were living in the Comox Valley. Now you're down in Victoria.
Yeah, I had a major life experience. I had to change everything, and Comox Valley just wasn't doing it for my music scene, so I moved in with some family, and I've been doing weekly open mics and performing lots around Victoria, and starting on an album, and everything is going really, really good. Yeah.
I want to ask about the album in a sec, but yeah, you're saying that South Island life is working well for you.
Yeah, it's a lot more opportunities in Victoria for sure.
Okay. I know we did talk before going on air. If you ever open your own pub, you should call it the DonTan Alley.
The DonTan Alley.
Exactly. I will take no residual profits from that. Anyways, moving on. We had you on as a solo performer 2 years ago. Now you're playing with a band, including on this album. So tell us about your band.
Yeah, so it's called DonTan and the Band, and it's me and 3 females. Jen Carnahan is my bass player. Kerilie Olive, she's the lead guitar player, and Amber Bandman, she's an amazing drummer. And we're playing grunge kind of pop music, like folk punk music, kind of like in the 90s, kind of trying to relive that whole experience I kind of missed out on.
You and me both.
Yeah, yeah, lots of good times, yeah. It's really high energy, kind of in-your-face music. So I just wanted to put out this really hard album first before I put out like a softer country album or something like that.
Oh, nice, yeah. Well, actually, I'm just going to step back and bring Jen up to the mic as well. And just tell us about your experience playing with Don and also with the new album.
So it's been awesome because I met Don at this jam in Victoria, this loft jam actually, and it's every Thursday night, and singers and songwriters come. It's super eclectic, and so Don had some songs that he wanted to play. We never met, but he had his charts ready to go, and it was just so easy to fit in, like to collaborate musically with this guy. So it's been really fun.
Perfect. So yeah, you guys introduced each other. Music chose you altogether.
Yeah.
And also Don and Mitch were talking after. Also, you and the other musicians in Don's band have your own band as well. So might as well get that free plug shout out as well.
Thanks. It's called Saint Cecilia. And it's women trio rockers. So like it was said before, we got Kerilie Olive, Amber Bandman, myself, and we just played last Saturday at the Ukrainian Dance Hall in Victoria. It was a women's collective event. It was an indoor market, so we had all women vendors, and we had guest speakers. It was a fundraiser for the sexual assault helpline, and we raised some money. And it was a good time, and we closed the night with our band after some other musical acts, and we had guests, vocalists from town, like 3 female guest vocalists, powerhouse singers, and it was just super fun, and we're just getting started. So,
check them out.
Keep us in mind.
Saint
Cecilia.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, give them the shout out. I'm just going to jump back over here and speaking back to you guys playing together. The new album, which I understand was just finished yesterday.
Yesterday was the last tracks for the fills and the lead guitar. It's been going on for about a month and a half now. It's called Love You're Crazy. I'll be singing that later. It's the feature song on the album. The song was written for me. Basically, I woke up in the morning and all the lyrics just spat out of my head, and I had that thing down in like an hour or two. So, and it's a really powerful song. I think people can really relate to it. Yeah.
Songs out of your dreams.
Songs out of my dreams. Yeah, it's called unconscious writing. It's a songwriting style. So you just kind of scribble whatever comes into your head and put it all together, and it seems to work out really good for me. I think that's what Kurt Cobain did too. So.
He did not too bad either. Yeah. Right. Keep the notebook by the bed. All right, we're gonna get to another song here shortly, but first, coming up for you, I guess you're playing at Quadripalooza as well as regular gigs at the Loft Pub in Victoria.
It's a big one. I did it last year. It was an amazing experience. I went there and helped build the stage. And my buddy kind of threw it on me, hey, you want to play for an hour and a half set? And I had no band, so I kind of made one up that day, and nobody really knew the songs, but we made it through it, and it was a really good experience, and I'll be going back there this year. So if nobody's ever checked it out before, it's Quadripalooza. It's an outdoor music festival on Quadra Island, and it's a really awesome experience.
Perfect. Yeah. Great shout-outs there on a number of fronts, and now let's get back to the music again.
Right.
Don, Jen, thank you so much for joining us on the
Puppet
show.
No More.
Puppet No More off the album Love You're Crazy. DonTan on the show on Shaw.
Thank you.
So the issue of health is one that concerns everybody. There's many dimensions to it, but one that has come to light recently is the issue of a thing called superbugs. Now, we've all heard what they are. We've heard that they exist, but how many of us know what they are, what causes them, and how they're controlled? Tonight, we're going to find out. So I have with me tonight Dr. James Ayukekbon, epidemiologist, hailing from Cameroon, Africa, but now makes his home here in Canada. And doctor, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Luis. It's my pleasure.
So let's just cut right to the chase here. And what are superbugs, doctor?
Interesting question here. So superbugs are actually an informal designation given to bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics that are meant to treat them. So antibiotics were actually discovered about 19 years ago, in the year 2019-28. And this changed the way medicine was practiced. You know, doctors were able to treat infections that emanated from their practice. But recently, there's been the development of superbugs, like you said, and antimicrobial resistance, and this is compromising the abilities for doctors to treat infections and undermining the advances that have been made over the years in medicine.
Mm-hmm. So it's a big issue, obviously, and I heard, people are dying because of this. 8,000 Canadians, I've heard, are dying because of these superbugs, and I know there's overseas too, where you've done a lot of work. There's what causes these superbugs to arise anyway?
Because it's multifactorial. Like there are many things that could result or could cause the emergence of superbugs. The first is one, the unregulation of antimicrobials in some countries. Like in developing countries, you can actually buy antibiotic on the street.
Like some slides that kind of show that that's happening.
Yeah.
Where that can happen.
In Canada, it's quite regulated. You know, the antibiotics are quite restricted, and that's good. But in some developing countries, like we see in the image, you can actually buy an antibiotic in the street. And another thing that could promote the emergence of superbugs is the use and misuse of antibiotics. We are probably guilty for the fact that when we go to our doctor, they prescribe an antibiotic for 14 days. You know, after 7 days, we feel better, and then we abandon the rest of the course. So this has an effect because the bacteria develop resistance. And when we are sick, we cannot use the same antibiotics because the bacteria are resistant to the antibiotics because of misuse. And the next cause could be the misuse of antimicrobials in animal industries. In Canada, about 80% of antibiotics are used in animal production, right? So the misuse of antibiotics in animal production could lead to the development of selective pressure in the bacteria. And the bacteria develop resistance, and the animals are in turn infected by the resistant bacteria, and we get reinfected by eating the animals.
What's being done in the way of control, Doctor? I know there's a lot of work done. What's happening in that field?
Yeah. Like I said initially, it's a multifactorial and multi-sectorial problem. So a lot of stakeholders are involved in the problem of antimicrobial resistance. The first is regulation, right? For example, in Canada, we have the Health Canada that's regulating the use of antimicrobials, the approval and eventual use of antimicrobials in Canada. And the next thing could be the prudent use of antimicrobials. So people need to be informed about how they need to use the antibiotics. They need to adhere to doctors' prescriptions and things like that. And also there's a concept of antimicrobial stewardship, you know. What's the indication of the treatment the condition we're trying to treat? What is the duration of the antibiotics? What is the dose? What is the frequency? What's the duration? So all these things have to come into play for us to effectively use antimicrobials.
Mm-hmm. So it's obviously it's a big issue and it needs to be properly addressed. There's a lot of stakeholders. The pharmaceutical companies, they spend a lot of money to develop these antibiotics. We've got to use them wisely, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. So that's part of the deal. There's
a
whole lot of the doctors, the pharmaceutical companies, the regulators, the government regulations, the patients themselves. You know, we're all on board with that. Is that correct?
Yeah. Exactly. And at EpiTech, we are having we are pursuing a very specific direction because we posit that if we don't get infections in the first place, we don't need antibiotics, right? So our intervention is infection prevention and control. You know, we help establishments like long-term care facilities and other healthcare establishments to build programs to prevent the transmission of infection within healthcare facilities.
Well, it sounds like your company's doing good. I've got your T-shirt on here with the EpiTech's logo, and it sounds like you're really doing some important work to help that happen. And so we're out of time, Dr. Listen, thank you very much for joining us and informing us with important matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'm going to throw it over to Jane Vinet and the excellent work that's being done with the Seniors Connect Society.
Thank you so much for that, Louis. Yes, information is the key to avoiding superbugs, but it's also the way that older adults in Nanaimo are increasing their social engagement and reducing their social isolation. And today, I am joined by some amazing volunteers from the Seniors Connect program. We call you Seniors Connectors, Gloria George and Diana Martins. Thank you for joining me here today. So tell me a little bit about your role as a senior connector, Gloria. What is it you do?
Well, I joined Seniors Connect about 2 years ago, and as a volunteer for 2 hours a week. And what I do there is greet people who just come into the drop-in center and show them around, give them information, talk to them, maybe make a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Yes.
And Diana, how long have you been a Seniors Connector now?
Not quite 3 years, so yeah.
And do you do a similar role, or do you do something a little different?
If there is extra work that needs doing, that's the first thing that both Gloria and I look for, because we are the ones who go out to the outreach, and so we need the Red Book up to date. That's one of the things, and then we need to answer the phone when it needs answering, and otherwise we socialize and make coffee.
And now I know the Seniors Connect program offers a drop-in program 3 days a week. Correct. So what happens at drop-in on a typical day?
Oh, the same people come, sometimes new people, but you get to know everybody. It's like a family in there, and I've seen people just blossom. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 10 to 3, it's drop-in. And on Thursday, Friday, we have classes.
Okay. What kind of classes do you have over there?
There's chair yoga. There's also light exercise with
Brian
yeah,
Sigiani.
Brian, yes.
He's very well known here on this show.
Okay. There's beading with Louisa. There are other unusual and interesting classes, like one for the cell phone and computer help. There's
there's
also
access to technology at the center for people who want to go in there?
2 computers for them to use.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, Diana, about the outreach portion, and I know this is something that only sort of started up in the last year and a half or so. And you call the Seniors Connectors actually go into community and perform outreach work. So what does that look like?
For most of the day, we will be in a mall and have quite a display of all the various resources that are available to people. And people in the mall will come by and say, oh, I've got a mother that has dementia and I'm really worried about my father. And we will have literature and give them some access
Contacts,
to.
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And then,
That's just one instance.
The center actually provides services to vulnerable and marginalized people, even street entrenched people who will come in off the streets. Some of our seniors here in Nanaimo are street entrenched. So when they come into the Seniors Connect Center, what kind of service? I mean, you know, if I'm going there to socialize and socially engage, it's great to know I can go in and have a coffee and play a game of cards. But what if I'm a person who's really in need? What kind of help or support could I get at the center?
There's Kayla, our receptionist there, she has organized housing for people. She has organized medical help and
safer applications.
Yes.
Safer applications. So applications to help an older adult maybe get assistance with their rent.
Filling out forms. People are stymied by forms.
And referring them to wherever they need to go.
Yes.
Now, the Seniors Connect program, I know, just got an 8-month extension. I think some people thought we were wrapping up at the end of April, but now we're running till December, and I know it's looking for a home. Tell me why that's important to you.
Accessibility for people to be able to get their space for the growing numbers and space for programs. And yeah.
Yeah, people are very much relying on a place for them, which there isn't elsewhere.
Well, I can't thank you enough for the service that you provide to our community. I really, really appreciate everything that you do at the center, as I know all the seniors and everyone in our community. So thank you both for being my guests here today.
Thank you.
So I'm just connecting with my buddy Howie over here for a sec. So I was loving the connections going on over that area. So my buddy Howie, how's it going? Good. Good, all right. Anyways, back over to your hand. Gloria, Danny, thank you both for being so much here. One of the really cool things about highlighting the Seniors Connect programs here on this show is just getting to hear how much of an impact the programs are doing. And we've illustrated here today all through different areas, technology, social games, much more. So thank you, both of you, for all your work and volunteer work with Seniors Connect. It's really great to hear that. Thank you for being on the show.
And the joy of volunteering.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, so many volunteers here at Shaw Spotlight, and again with Seniors Connect as well, and some really robust volunteering going on in the Nanaimo area. So thank you both again for being a big part of that.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to jump in front of my buddy Howie here for a sec, because we have come close to the end of another episode. But before we close things out with our musical guest, DonTan, I've been challenged to somewhat coherently mention 4 community events in the next 2 minutes. So here we go. Number 1, on bike or foot, get out and explore our parks, trails, and playgrounds with the Golden Bucket Contest. There's nothing to do with chicken. Every Wednesday from May 1st to June 30th, check the City of Nanaimo Parks and Rec website or social media pages for a clue on how to find that golden bucket. Find the bucket and complete the challenges contained inside for your chance to win a grand prize of a kayak tour for 6. Amazing stuff there, the golden bucket. Number 2. If you're looking to run over some cycle paths, Bike to Work Week's coming back May 27th to June 2nd, featuring all sorts of celebration stations across the city, organizations helping to service your bike. And with that, there's also a grand prize, as you can see there on the screen, for a trip to Italy, where presumably you'll be challenged to drink red wine and eat fusilli while on a bike. Boy, oh boy, I love exercise. Number 3, families who fish together, they are delish together. Oh, there we are. Yes, fishing together. This is your casting call. Get out and go fishing as part of the 20th annual BC Family Fishing Weekend, June 14th to 18th. This includes a fun event geared toward young fishers on Friday, June 14th from 3:30 to 7:30 at Colliery Dam Park, including fishing lessons, games, demos. You could probably say the fish are waiting with bated breath. With bated breath. Anyways, I might also add that seafood goes along really well with pasta and red wine, by the way. And 4 of 4, now one of the Nanaimo's most legendary soirees is back for a 19th year. It's not my birthday, no, it's the 007 James Bond fundraiser and gala presented by Nanaimo Oceanside Rotary. And no, they are not raising funds for the British Secret Service, but instead Nanaimo Community Hospice Society and Tour de Rock. Enjoy music and dancing from Disco Heroes Wonder Bread. There's some live and silent auctions and dinner from Chef Lauren Cartmel, formerly of Gordon Ramsay London. I'm guessing she may pair some pasta and red wine together. So you know it's going to be fabulous. Hang out with other municipal bonds on Saturday, June 1st at Bevan Park for the 007 James Bond fundraiser. And there's your 4 event updates there, I think in less than 2 minutes. All right. Some applause. First time in 8 years. All right. Now just about time, as mentioned, to finish off the show, but in honor of that James Bond event, you know, he's someone that really inspires me with his confidence, you know, rushing around the world. So I'm asking you out there just to live like him. After all, you only live twice. Just don't live and let die. We have to make the best of our time on Earth. Diamonds are forever, but humans aren't. The world is not enough without you. So spend some time with your friends instead of hiding out in a quantum of solace. I'm not suggesting that you waste all your money at Casino Royale. I don't want to scare the living daylights out of you. After all, don't be like Chicken Little and worried about Skyfall. So just never say never again. And if your health practitioner is telling you that you're under the specter of death, raise your middle gold finger, wink your golden eye, and say, "Doctor, no. I can die another day." Bond. James Bond. All right, so thanks to all of our guests and all of our hardworking volunteers and staff in front of the cameras behind the scenes. Have an event, cause, demonstration, James Bond joke or issue you'd like to bring to the show. We're always looking for great Central Island guests, so as well as volunteers, so do drop us a line. You can find more about the show on Facebook, facebook.com/The Show on Shaw, and check out previous episodes of the show on YouTube as well. Before we go, though, as I mentioned, one more song from our musical guest, DonTan, the title track to his upcoming album, just finished yesterday, called Love You're Crazy. Cheers, and thank you so much for watching the show on Shaw.
All right, let's rock this place out.
Lovers falter, heaven gets smaller. Say some heaven for me, for me. I'm falling so fast, brought up the past. Oh, lovers calling on me. I love you crazy. Do lovers falter and heaven gets smaller, see some heaven for me, for me. I love you're crazy, I feel you're insane. Let's get lost in that maze. One more time now. I love you're crazy, I feel you're insane. Let's get lost in that maze, that maze. And when you kiss him, do you think of me? Eclipse me with your lips and make me your fantasy. I love your crazy, I feel you're insane. Let's get lost in that maze, that maze. I love your crazy, I feel you're insane. Let's get lost in that maze, that maze. When lovers falter and heaven gets smaller, see some heaven for me, for me. When lovers falter and heaven gets smaller, save a little hell when you leave, when you leave. Thank you. Love you crazy, DonTan.